Right. Yeah, sure.
So Dan, might just check with yourself, how are you getting on? Are you back fully training now after the hamstring, good to go for the weekend, do you think?
Yeah, should be all good. Trained fully last week and then also yesterday and this morning, so body's back to 100%, so ready to go for this weekend and an exciting challenge ahead.
How frustrating was it on the opening weekend to get that right on, was it the eve of the game against Wales?
Yeah, just towards that end of the week things didn't go right, and then probably the first time I've had to face an injury since I've made my Leinster debut. I think it was the first game I've missed or not been available for, so that was a bit of a challenge to get over, but I think showed that we have a lot of squad depth, and also there's a lot of competition for places because one person misses out and two lads are well capable of filling in.
And then when you see the likes of Ronan stepping up and Raoul Herring coming in,
yeah.
you're going, geez, it's a tough one missing out of these when you see players coming in and excelling as well.
Yeah, especially to miss a home game in the Aviva of that against France, the game we lost last year. It's obviously on a personal level probably tough missing those games, but I think the squad depth to be shown, and it's important over the next year or so that squad depth is at the front of our minds, and so I think it was a positive maybe to take from it.
And just Ross, then yourself, off the back of the France game, you got a good 30 plus minutes, and I presume happy with how things went out there?
Yeah, well, we won, so that's obviously the most important thing. Obviously, I was delighted to get a good bit of game time and obviously get the win and get the bonus point. Sets us up well for the next few weeks.
And can you tell us right here, right now, how you starting this weekend?
You'll have to find out.
And Ross, you've had 16 appearances for Ireland so far, 2 starts. This will be your 3rd start if it does happen for you this weekend. How big of a moment would it be for you?
Yeah, it would be big, but it's just treat it like I normally would. You know what I mean? I've played a lot of games this year, and I'm pretty happy with how that's gone and my preparation. So if I am, I'll be doing anything too different.
I don't know if you listen to any of the media or anything that's said, but I suppose there's a lot of talk of how much you've improved as a player over the last number of years. Why do you think that is, or has anything changed for you?
Well, you're the ones who keep saying I've improved, so maybe you can tell me. Look, it's just little bits and pieces, you know what I mean? It hasn't been one big change. Obviously, over the last couple of years, I've played a lot of games as well, and some of them have been big games. Couple of big losses as well, and you learn pretty harsh lessons, you know what I mean, but it's trying to just take bits of experience and improve each day, and that's something I've tried to do, and I think it's gone pretty well over the last year or so.
And you've had to, I suppose, bide your time. The number 10 position, it's a tough one to get into, obviously, with Johnny in there, and there's obviously the likes of Jack Crowley coming through, Joey Carberry. So for you, mentally, has that been a challenge to, I suppose, keep your mind set on trying to break in there?
It hasn't really changed anything, you know what I mean? There's competition across the board in every position, but it's the same in Leinster, you know what I mean? You're dealing with that competition every day, so I haven't really been worried about what the other lads are doing because I can't control that. I've really just been looking after my own performances and trying to get the best out of myself.
And how much are you enjoying being back a part of the Ireland setup?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, absolutely loving being back, and I think the last 2 performances you can see how good they've been, and obviously there's a lot more room for growth as well, which is hugely exciting.
Thank you.
Ross, does it give you an extra sort of edge, when you are fighting for that place and the pecking order over the last couple of years, you moved up and down, does it give you that extra drive and kick you need?
Yeah, I think when you're not in the squad and you see the squad doing so well, you want to be part of that. You know what I mean? Everyone wants to be playing in the biggest days, and you want to be part of a winning team. So it definitely, I suppose, it gives you that probably a little bit of edge that you strive to get back into the team.
And now that you are in the position that you're in, have you found that just your personal confidence in your game when you step out there has grown?
Yeah, it's definitely a confidence booster. You know what I mean? When you get back in the squad, and then obviously trying to get as much game time as possible. And as I said before, I'm not trying to do anything too different. I've been very happy with how I've been going, but it's trying to do what I've been doing and just grow little bits and pieces to that.
Ross, if you managed it would be a first start in the Six Nations. Did you ever fear that might not come at any point?
Yeah, well, obviously I spoke about this a while ago, obviously before I got the call, or in November, you know what I mean? There was definitely times when I thought maybe I'd never get back in, but you just have to be patient, which It's not always easy, and then hopefully if you do get an opportunity, you just have to try and make the most of it.
What would the first stop in this particular competition mean to you?
I haven't really thought about that, to be honest. To be honest, for me, it would just be about trying to get a win for the team. That's the most important thing, and a good performance.
And you, as Ross was saying, when you were injured, did you feel that maybe Grant could catch up? You saw the other hookers coming in and doing quite well, or what was your feeling then?
No, I think I've probably just missed one game. I haven't missed a training session, so I've still been around the squad. Obviously, to miss a game of that standard is huge, but I think to get back this quickly, I'm pretty happy with how I've dealt with it personally, and then to flow back into the squad, I'm pretty happy that we have another chance this week.
Yeah, it's pretty competitive there now. I know Thomas come back to Ulster, but there's three of you there all fighting for starting jersey.
Yeah, I think all of that, probably a few years ago there wasn't as much depth in the hooker position, and now all of a sudden there's a good few lads, young lads coming through of world class standards. So I think it's probably the best. If people might get too comfortable if they don't have someone pushing in behind, and there's certainly people pushing in behind. So I think it drives standard and makes sure that we keep it competitive.
Yeah. How much do you think luck plays a role just with injury? Because Rob obviously is recovering, you're coming back, and Ronan was out for a while. The timing of your injuries is quite important about who gets the shirt. Does that play a role in there?
I think it's part of the game, especially the modern game. Injuries will come around to everyone, and it's how you deal with them. Obviously there's some instances where you can be in the right place at the right time and be fit at the right time, but I think create your own luck almost, and I don't think luck is a big part of international rugby.
Just the challenge of Italy, I suppose what you're expecting this weekend. Obviously they're a much better place compared to 12 months ago because of some of the results and performances they produced since then. Yeah, no, I think if you watch their two last games, they have some seriously good attacking rugby, some dangerous individuals, but they're also playing some nice shape. So I think our focus is on making sure we stick to our systems. I think sometimes maybe you can be tempted on trying to solve problems yourself, but they're definitely a dangerous threat in the wider channels as well. So we'll be focused on making sure we stick to our processes and don't take the foot off the gas from the first two performances.
Dan, I know it's difficult because Ross is sitting beside you, but if I could try and just pick your brain. You played a lot with Ross. A lot of people in Leinster who maybe need to be introduced to Johnny Sexton here. You've played an awful lot with this guy. Can you just tell us what he's like under pressure, or what you've seen in him, or something you've admired, or something that you've had a fight with him or a row with?
No, I think Ross, I haven't had a fight with him yet, but over the last few years I've probably played most of my rugby under Ross at 10, so I think probably the media were a bit harsh on him over the last few years, because from what I saw inside the doors of Leinster and Ireland was someone who's calm and can make plays happen. It's everyone I think is really comfortable with him on both teams playing, so I
don't know which sport to pick as an analogy, but as somebody who's, if you don't mind me saying so, slightly reinvented playing hooker, you're just done a little bit wider than anybody else. What do you make of this guy's cross kicking? He's got soccer type cross kicking, or GAA type cross kicking.
Yeah, I think he has everything in the locker. His game control and his ability to see space and manage the pack around him. I think most good 10s have it, and Ross definitely has it. So I've always found it comfortable playing with Ross, and I was glad to see him come back into the squad.
Are you comfortable with catching that ball on the wing, or do you go up to head it?
Definitely go up to head it anyway. But yeah, it's something we've probably been working on a little bit, making sure you're practicing positions that you might find yourself in the game in training. So.
Ross, did you have your most comfortable weekend for a long time last weekend, or your most nervous weekend last weekend? You've changed, your position has changed in the constellation, if you like. We think you're starting, and I guess that we think you're starting. Did you have a comfortable weekend? What'd you do?
It was just a pretty normal weekend, to be honest. Obviously we didn't have a game, so obviously we trained hard here last week. So it's just a bit of time to relax, to be honest, and especially with the next few weeks will be pretty intense. So.
If I remember correctly, you're a horrendous Manchester United fan. Is that another about half? He's a Man United fan. Is that right?
Yeah, it's all going well, isn't it?
Yeah. Will you watch them tonight? I mean, is that part of the build-up? Do you watch sport as part of the build-up?
I'd watch a good bit of sport. Yeah.
Manchester United.
Yeah.
Dan, do you see yourself as a try-scoring hooker? I mean, yourself and Ronan Can't you get a few between you? Or is that important when your position?
No, I don't see myself as a try scoring hooker. I don't think it's something you can focus on as being a try scoring hooker. I think I'm comfortable in the wider channels. I enjoy running with the ball. I feel that skill set's good, but I don't think you can focus on being a try scorer. I think those opportunities will come when you play the shape and you stick to your processes. But if you go outside trying to look for tries, you just get in the way, and it sort of goes against the team.
You always seem to get the back of those rolling mauls and stuff, the ball in hand. So perhaps the structures suit the way you play. Yeah,
I think the way that maybe our teams are attacking at the moment, we end up just flopping over at the back. We don't do a whole lot, and then there's the odd try we might get somewhere else. But I think it's probably the hype of maybe try records is just purely out of luck almost, that we've been the ones that flop over at the end.
So you're not looking at Ronan's try tally in your own and that?
No.
No, nothing like that?
No.
Sorry, last question, Dave. The whole skill set that you have is sort of more modern than maybe it was 10 years ago, where you are running, you are carrying, you are on the scrum. Is that absolutely required these days, all of those things?
I think it's the way the game's probably going. You look at all the good teams at the moment, and they have forwards that have the ability to pass the ball and sort of show their skills under pressure. I think you still have to be able to do the basics. You still have to be able to front up, win collisions. But I think the way that attacking sort of rugby is going at the moment, I think it definitely helps.
Is it more enjoyable to play that way?
It's the only way I've ever really played. I would have played a lot of tip and stuff as a kid, just out of fun. So that would have helped. But I think I enjoy rugby, which is with the ball and being able to sort of express your skill set in the wider channels even.
Is there anything you can specifically tell us about Italy, Ross? I mean, you play there regularly at club level. That one team is improving, one team isn't. I don't know. What do you make of the overall thing?
Yeah, well, I think Dan alluded to it earlier. I mean, the last two performances have been pretty good. They're a very well coached team. They like to keep the ball for a lot of phases, you know what I mean, and they've some serious threats out wide and they're in their pack as well. So we'll definitely have our hands full.
Just before COVID, they won in the RDS. Do you remember that?
I did. Thanks for reminding me.
You didn't start.
Did I not?
No, that's can you remember anything about it?
Jeez, I don't know. It was a long time ago now.
You were on the bench.
Yeah, Ross, just on the point that Dan made earlier, that he felt that the media have been harsh on you over the years, is that something that you have felt?
It's not really, to be honest. Look, I don't really read too much into media. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, you know what I mean? I've just been looking after myself. I can't control what the media always says, you know what I mean? So for me, it's just been looking after my own performances.
Brilliant, thanks.
Boys, can I just take the heat out of the room a little bit and ask you a couple of questions about a teammate who's not here, so a little less embarrassing for you both. I'm speaking to Caelan Doris this afternoon, your Leinster teammate. So Ross, first of all, how deserving is he of all of these plaudits that he's had over the past few weeks?
Yeah, he's been brilliant. I think everyone's seen it, you know what I mean? But I suppose we probably see it in training every day. And his performances over the last number of years have probably been pretty close to the level they're at. And it's the work he puts in throughout the week, you know what I mean? That's what we see, and everyone else probably doesn't. So it's not happening by accident.
Dan, there's a list of words in front of me that he's been described as an absurdly good, absolute animal. How would you describe him?
He's a good bloke. He's one of my good mates. I think everyone enjoys him in the squad on a personal level, and I think he's able to turn it on a game day. But like Ross said, it hasn't come out of chance. He's not a weekend player. He puts a lot of effort in during the week to make sure that he's able to perform on the weekend and be part of the team. So I think he's a massive asset to the squad, and he's been performing really well for us.
He's been really open about his interest in psychology because his parents are psychotherapists. Is he the team shrink?
You have to ask him that. Maybe going forward.
You have to go and lay on the spot in his room and tell him problems.
Haven't yet.
Not yet.
Okay, we'll leave it on that surreal note then. Okay.
Sorry, Jen, I realised I ruled you out of the Wales game instead of France.